Hey everybody, this is Sabrina. Welcome back to my channel. I will be doing my 10 on 10 project where I document some photos on the 10th of the month. This project was started by a scrapbook friend named Shannon. I'll link it in the description box. But really, that's how simple the project is. Just documenting 10 photos on the 10th of the month. And I am using the CutShoppe Document 365 kit to put this all together. I love the kits that Ashley is doing for each of the months, so that is what I'm using, and it makes it really simple. Also doing this in a 4x6 format, which is going to be really fun to see at the end of the year. So I am starting off with my title page, of course, and this month I tried cutting out some of the digital stamps on sticker paper, and that's kind of why I was wrestling that March, because it didn't quite cut so precise, so I had to cut out some of the pieces that were still stuck in it. So I put down the March and a die cut flower behind it, but I also want to stamp some flowers from an Ali Edwards stamp set. I do want to say that I wanted to incorporate this flower stamp some other places throughout this, but I didn't really get a chance to, but that's okay. So this is the only spot where I used this flower stamp set. And then I just stamped the inner part with a darker pink. And then I will stamp Bits of Life 3 times using a Kerri Bradford stamp set that I love, and I'll be able to use that stamp set throughout this project. Also added in a die cut leaf and this rainbow striped paper, and that will wrap up my title page. And I just have to punch the holes and I can move on to the first story for March, which is going to be a very hilarious story. And I will show you all of the pages at the end of this video, of course. Okay, so moving on to the next story where I am going to talk about Fred. Fred is this soccer contraption that my son has, and we got years ago, and his name is Fred, so I don't even remember what this contraption is called, but my son has taken to kind of park him or it or the thing right outside the porch. And so basically Fred greets me every morning. And I basically start my morning by saying, "Hi, Fred." Unless, and this is what I'm going to write in my journaling too, unless I'm so tired and then Fred scares the crud out of me, you know? So it is hilarious. And it's a terrible picture because, of course, our window is all dirty. It needs to be cleaned. Side note, reason it's also very dirty is we had a bird nest out there for much of last year. So we really didn't touch the porch or the window. So it's messy. But I had to document this story because it's just hilarious. So I put the photo down and I'm making a really pretty page on the right to kind of balance out that messy photo. It's a dandelion paper that I tore, and then I have a large die cut flower. And then I took the tiny strips left over from the dandelion paper and tore those as well and put them on the top and the bottom of my photo. I also am using some Colorcast Designs tag pieces. The one I picked for this page is Story of This Ordinary Day. And I'll use another sticker that says Friday since this was on a Friday. I thought about using a circle die cut that I had, but in the end I'm going to choose a dandelion die cut. That way it matches the paper. I grabbed some kind of orange, I want to say soft orange stars, and I'll use those too. So it's just a really fun die cut page, and I can document or finally document the story of Fred. Like I said, it's not the best picture, but it's definitely a story that does need to be documented. So I am going to actually stamp out Fred using the Iris Kerri Bradford stamp set. And then below that, I can add the journaling lines and tell the story of Fred. He greets me every morning as I go to the sink and get the warm water started so I can wash my hands and start cooking food. And, he just greets me unless, like I said, he scares me and I'm tired and I get a shock of my life. I get startled and then I really get woken up. But yeah, my son loves this guy. I think it's just a defender that you use to put out on the field, and you can like do drills around the defender, and it's awesome. It's a great thing for my son to have, and it now makes a really hilarious story about my morning routine. So once I have that all written down, I can move on to a collage of photos to kind of wrap up the morning. So punching the holes and then moving on. And this month I feel like I took each of the colors and used them singularly on my spreads. There's only a few that I did more than one color, but I loved the idea of just pulling one color from my photos and maybe a hint of another color. So like on the previous page, it was the soft orange and then that neutral beige tan from the dandelion paper. This one is going to be mostly the blues with just a little bit of green. So I took these photos, and I think they're 3x2 but shrunk down a little bit. And my son was wearing a blue jersey. The book had blue in it, so I went with the card that says March Moments, and I'm going to use that on the left-hand side to do some bullet point journaling. And then there was also a blue paper in the kit, so I will go ahead and use that. And then the empty space I'll use for the tag everyday happenings, and I'll put a little cluster behind it. I made a die cut dandelion. I made it blue using, I think it was the digital stamps, and I also made a green flower using the digital stamps. These are the same type of die cuts that you saw me make in my Allie Edwards video. Yesterday I shared the slowed down version. So again, a lot of these die cuts I have made myself using the digital stamps and then just cut them out with my Cameo. At the bottom of the journaling card, I will have another cluster, just smaller pieces. So a smaller blue dandelion circle and a smaller green flower. And then I am going to add in some more of the Kerri Bradford stamp set. It's the iris one, and it has a heart in it. I'm going to use that and stamp it in blue and green ink. So just a little bit of stamping because I just can't help myself. I love adding some background stamping. Then I will do the bullet point journaling. So I just talk about making breakfast and how I now like to listen to my audiobook. So I'm usually in the kitchen making breakfast and the lunches and listening to my audiobook. I also had my son sign some papers so he could do track and field. And then when I get back from dropping off the kids, I love to read my book with my book stand, which is one of the best things I bought at Amazon, and I can eat my breakfast. Read my book and eat my breakfast, best way to start my day. And I'm so thankful whenever I can do that. Okay, moving on to kind of the middle of the day and the afternoon. My kids had really short days this particular week, so I took a walk before I went to get them. I was trying to make sure that I get outside more, and I saw some dandelions, so I made that photo 4x6. And then my daughter was really brave and read to some dogs. That part was easy, but we didn't expect how crowded it was going to be. So that part was a little nervous and nerve-inducing, but she did it, and I was so proud of her. And I got this really awesome photo of her with the birthday dog. And now the dog's name is escaping my head, but this dog had its 4th birthday, and so my daughter got to read to the dog, and she had all her books prepared weeks in advance, and it was really exciting to be able to go to this together. This was one of the other spreads where I kind of pulled all the colors. I think this was the only spread besides the title page where I did this, but I really wanted to use that fun, colorful die cut that says Hello Spring. So I used that along with 2 other die cuts down at the bottom. And then there was some negative space in the photo of my daughter up at the top. So I just added in a orange dandelion die cut along with a tag veneer that says Around Here. And I matted her photo on some green paper, which ties in from the green on the daffodils, right? So that can lift up and you will see the journaling card. And underneath the photo of my daughter and the journaling card, I put some more die cuts of different colored flowers. So lots of fun making this one. And I think, like I said, this was the only one where I pulled multiple colors to make it really colorful, which I love how it came together. So once I get this all put together, I can lift it up and go ahead and do the journaling, which I love bullet point journaling and just quick and simple and to the point. Okay, so the first one I said I took another walk and I loved it. I love getting the fresh air and just seeing spring, and I'm just proud of myself for getting out of the house, taking a walk. In the second one, I just talked about my daughter going to the library, and there was 4 different dogs, and she got to read stories about them. Her favorite was Billie Holiday and the story of her dog. And then the third one was my mother-in-law took my son to soccer practice, and she even brought along Opa so Opa could see the practice too, which was awesome. I love when they help out. It is the best. Okay, so moving on to the next one, I just got to punch the holes, and the next one is going to be all about my daughter's karate promotion. She is doing amazing with karate and absolutely loves it. So on the karate page, I'm going to go ahead and stick with blues and greens, this time the light blue in the collection. So I made another collage. This time I couldn't do all vertical photos because when they bow to say goodbye to their old belt, I needed to make that a horizontal photo. So totally okay with that. Makes sense, right? And in between this page, I will have my vellum insert. I mentioned this on my agenda video, but I love making these vellum inserts where it's all of the digital stamps and then I just print it out 4x6. So I make it myself, just clustering all the different stamps and print it out. And so I'm going to put it in between this page. And as you can see, when I was first figuring out the design for this page, I thought I would do the acrylic piece right on top, but I'm actually going to do it on top of my daughter's photo. And for the placement of the star blue paper, I'm going to put that up at the top and then all the different photos somewhat staggered. In the other collage of the morning, I had the photos closer together. Now, on this photo love acrylic piece, there was the heart, right? And I really wanted to draw attention to that. So I grabbed a scrap of green, the kind of darker green, and I am just cutting out a shape to fit inside of the heart. And I really like that. That way it doesn't get lost in the photo, because I think where I was going to place the photo love, it was going to be right on my daughter's gi, and that is white. So it just get lost. So having that green behind it gives it that pop and emphasis that I wanted. I also hole punched some green circles, just 2, and add them in the corners on the left-hand side. So that way I can make some clusters and tie in the green from the photo love. So I'm going to use my blue glue pen to glue everything down. I just got to make sure I have the heart shape. And I think I wind up accidentally making 2 pieces to make one whole heart for this piece. But I got it all figured out. It just took a lot of cutting and finagling. I like that word, finagling. So I got my pieces for the green all put together, and then I'm gluing down the photos. And I will also add in some stamped phrases from the Kerri Bradford stamp set. I can't remember what it's called, but I want to say it's something stories. I'll go ahead and link it in the description box. I'm not sure if it's still available, but I will link it. I love it. It's perfect for Project Life and so many different other projects just because of the variety of phrases. So I stamped favorite moment, loving, and on this day. Loving, I put in green to again add some more green to this page. And then I'll add a few more hearts in green. So I didn't add too much blue on this page, just at the top. I probably could have added a little more blue, but that's okay. I also didn't have a light blue ink, so that's another reason I didn't stamp a phrase in blue. So the loving is going to go up at the top over by the photo of my daughter in her ready stance. I think that's what it's called, but don't quote me. And then favorite moment is going to go down to the left because that is my favorite moment. I love when they do that. I love when they say goodbye to their old belt and welcoming their new belt and all the adventures and the journey that's to come with their new belt. So my daughter went from orange belt to green belt, and she, like I've said, she just is so awesome, and it is so rad to watch her in karate. I love it. The last little page I'm going to do is just a photo of Oma and Opa at the karate ceremony. I had one photo from late night, like my carrot cake, but I decided that if I ended the page right here, that would be great because then I'll start on April and it'll be on the right-hand side, which is how the other months have started. So I'll just end it here. And it is a great photo of Oma and Opa with sunshine while she, right after she got her belt. And I'll just add a few die cuts. And I also stamped celebrate, love this family. And I did it in black and green. So just framing in the photo with a few die cuts and making it very simple. And I'll punch the holes and show you guys how everything came together. There's also a star die cut that says love. So I added that to the top. And I'm stamping the celebrate, love this family, and then I will be finished. This is such a fun little project to do, just capturing little pieces of life. And I know if you're part of the Allie Edwards community, you are gearing up to do day in the life on Saturday, and it's going to be so much fun. We're doing the lens of color, which is unique, and I'm excited. All right, here we go. March, and I love it. Okay, so this is the opening page, the story of Fred and the morning, then moving into the afternoon and reading to a dog, and the evening with my daughter's karate promotion and Oma and Opa. And that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed seeing this come together. I would love a thumbs up or a subscribe if you're new to my channel. Have a great day. Bye.